Hi, I'm so glad to join you today for this little breakout session about math. My name is Lisa. I am a retired homeschool mom. I have 3 children, 2 of which I homeschooled with Sonlight from kindergarten through graduation. And I have a confession, I am a math nerd. I love to do math and talk about math. So I'm here today to help you because usually homeschool moms are fearful of teaching math, but I wanted to let you know that Sonlight has you covered. You can teach math. I will remind you again at the end, but I want to make sure you know, regardless of the math program that you choose, no matter how confused you feel about that selection, we're here to help. Both the advisors and the mentors are available to answer questions. So don't worry, you got this, you can do it. So without further ado, here are our math programs. I'm going to start with our elementary programs and work through our high school programs. So to start, elementary math, everyone can do it. You can teach it. It's just adding and subtracting. The first program I want to talk to you about is our Miquon Math. This is a discovery-based math curriculum. It uses a kinesthetic approach with Cuisinart rods, and it encourages your child to discover the answer rather than teaching them facts to memorize. So they're going to use those manipulative rods and the worksheets that are in the books to discover how numbers work together. There's 6 books included. We say it should take you about 3 grades to cover those 2, but as with all math programs, feel free to go at your child's pace. You will have to make a one-time purchase of a teacher book, but the teacher book lasts throughout the whole program. So that is Miquon Math. The next program that I want to talk to you about is Singapore Math. Singapore Math comes in 3 components, and you need 2 of these for a year, A and B. This is our 3rd grade program. You have your home instructor's guide. This tells you exactly how to teach the program. It has extra worksheets, games, all the teaching information that you need. Then you have your textbook. This is what you actually teach your child from. So these pages are colorful and include lots of words to talk to your children about, and they just are going to practice there. We did not write in the textbook, we just talked about it. And then comes the child's workbook. These are not colorful pages. They're black and white, get the job done, but this is where your child does the actual work. They are not a lot of problems on these pages. So if you have a child that is very mathy, that understands how numbers work, but is bored by repetition, Singapore is a great program for you. We call it a mastery approach. That means that to move on to the next lesson, you need to understand all the concepts taught before. Like I said, it does come in an A and a B level. We recommend you go on our website, take the placement test, and do 2 levels per year, an A and a B level. Now that might be that your child tests into 3B, and so your 3rd grade year goes 3B, 4A, but 2 levels in a year. It does go through about 6th grade. You know, we're loose on grades in homeschool, so however long that takes, but usually by about the end of elementary, you can have worked through all the levels, K through 6 of Singapore, and then you're ready to go into pre-algebra in an algebra program that we have. Singapore stops with the elementary grades. So that's Singapore. The next program I want to talk to you about is RightStart Math. And RightStart relies heavily on this cool little abacus. RightStart emphasizes visualization of math, quantities, and things like that. It does not focus on fact memorization. It uses lots of manipulatives, including games. Starts from kindergarten and goes through middle school. By the time you finish RightStart, your student should be ready to move into an algebra program. Something that concerns parents is it does require parental involvement. It's not something that you spend 5 minutes teaching the lesson and send the child off to do their work. It is going to require your time invested with the program. In addition to the abacus, you'll have the student workbook and your teacher workbook. So lots of resources for you to use. and how to use some manipulatives. We recommend, based on the learning style of RightStart, you are a great candidate to move into our VideoText Interactive algebra, which I'll talk about later. You don't have to use that one, but it is a normal progression and the styles are similar. The next program I want to talk to you about is Horizons. Horizons includes your teacher manual and 2 workbooks for your child. Horizons pages are colorful, which is appealing to some children, and there is a lot on the page. Horizons is a very traditional math program. The scope and sequence is going to be very similar to what your child might find if they're coming out of public school or if you're accustomed to public school. It's going to teach math in the manner probably that you were taught. It is very high on repetition. It's called a spiral approach, lots of review included. There are tests. It does use some manipulatives. It teaches money and time and calendar right along in the elementary grades. It does cover from kindergarten through 6th grade. At the end of that, your child should be ready to enter into a pre-algebra program, which we'll talk about in a bit. If your child is easily distracted by things on the page, Horizons might be something that you wouldn't want to use with them. Or if your child is frustrated by much review, also included in Horizons. So if that's something that you know your child struggles with, you might look at a different program. But it's a very traditional, solid, your child's ready for algebra when you finish program. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Saxon Math. So this is one of our elementary Saxons, grade 1. This is the student workbook. It comes with your teacher's manual, all the things that you need to implement Saxon in your home. Saxon is also a traditional spiral math program. It includes lots of pages, repetition for your child to make sure that they master. It's very incremental. So they're only going to learn a little bit each day and then practice what they've learned. And it may even practice back a month ago. So they're not going to forget what they've learned. They're going to continue to review. Saxon goes from kindergarten all the way through high school. It has all of your algebra and then ends with advanced mathematics, which is going to cover those topics like trigonometry and things that help your child succeed on the SAT, which is every homeschool mom's nightmare, that my child has to eventually take the SAT. Saxon's going to prepare you well for that. In the lower grades, it's very scripted, so you know exactly what you're teaching. And then as it moves forward, it's a bit more independent. It is just going to require you to teach a 5 or 10 minute lesson and then move on to your child doing his work independently. In the upper grades, we do also offer the Saxon Dive if you're concerned about not being able to teach. It's a video that you can watch with your child or have your child watch that does introduce the lessons. So those are some of our, programs that are elementary onward, and Math-U-See is one of those as well. This is our kindergarten level. Math-U-See, each level comes with your instruction manual, your child's workbook pages, and a video that includes the teaching lesson. So kindergarten through high school with Math-U-See, it uses a unique thing, their own integer blocks. So each block represents not a number, but a unit, which allows these blocks to be used not just for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, but also for decimals, fractions, algebra even. The blocks are an integral part of the program. They're a one-time purchase, and you can share them among your students if you have multiples. The video is short, maybe 5 or 6 minutes each lesson, which is not each day. Maybe on Monday, you watch your video and then you work on that lesson throughout the whole week. You can watch it alone and then teach your child, or you can watch it with your child so that both of you are getting the instruction. You'd start on your lesson A and work through the week, only doing enough until you're sure your child has mastered the concept. Once they can teach the concept back to you, Math-U-See says you're good. So then they can take the test and move on. We would think that a level would take about a year, but it's okay if it takes longer or shorter. Work at your child's pace. making sure that they have mastered the topic before you move on. Math UC has a heavy emphasis on fact memorization. So if that's not something that you're a fan of, Math UC might not be the best program for you. Once you go through the Greek letters ending in zeta, that's elementary, then you would move on to pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, algebra 2, it even goes up through calculus. A very solid mathematical foundation from kindergarten through high school, going to prepare your child well for college. So the last program that we have is all online. It's the VideoText Interactive system. So there are two programs of that. There's the algebra section and then the geometry section. The algebra section is going to give you enough information so that you could say that your child has taken pre-algebra, algebra, and algebra 2. Having said that, you probably already know it's going to take longer than a year to get through. It is a web-based system. So your child will watch the lesson, take notes, which they can also print out, then do a few problems today and maybe tomorrow, and then take a quiz. Each section has a small quiz, so it makes sure that your child has mastered the lesson before they move on to the next lesson. Then the geometry program covers geometry, trigonometry, and pre-calculus. So again, you can tell that's going to take longer than a year. It is a great way to really understand how math works. It really goes behind the scenes instead of just memorizing those steps from how to solve for X, understanding why what you're doing works to solve for X. So a great program. So those are all of the formal curriculum options that we choose. All are excellent, and we are here to help you no matter which one you choose. But we do have some fun supplements that I wanted to mention to you. The first one being our Mathtacular DVDs. This is a set of 4 DVDs that coordinate with Singapore, Horizons, or Saxon. Each short, humorous lesson will cover something that's mathematical, starting in lower elementary. You can let your child watch it from beginning to end for educational enjoyment, or you could just fast forward to the section on multiplication. It really just adds a little more concrete ways to maybe cover what might be abstract to your child. And it's funny, so kids enjoy it. If they have to watch TV, it might as well be something fun to watch. When you purchase it, you do also get your digital access in case you don't have a DVD player, because I know that it's going the way of the dinosaur. So you do have access to that in your Sonlight account, My Downloads as well. Only the last book even has a workbook, so it's not like extra work for your child. It really is fun. And then another supplement that we have is our Life of Fred series. This is the first book called Apples. They are ingenious in that each book goes by a letter of the alphabet. So we encourage everyone to start with Apples if you have an early elementary aged child, even up to 4th or 5th grade. It's review, but Fred is kind of funny, quirky at best. So as you work through the books, it might be review, but it's a great way, again, to just add another layer of understanding. It does go through some high school even, and on our website, it will show you if your child's older than 4th grade, maybe where you would start. The books are non-consumable, so you don't have to buy them over and over for your child. So I hope this little video has helped you understand the math programs that we offer, but more importantly, given you the encouragement that you need to know that you can teach your child math. Math is not evil, I promise. But even if you struggle, we are here to help, and we have lots of resources to make math more fun and entertaining, and you can do it, I promise. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day.